What's going on, guys? Ryan with Jedha Patrol back with another video. Today we're going to take a look at the SooSooToys Tactician, otherwise known as Bloodsport from Suicide Squad. Let's check it out. That's right, guys, we're back. Hope you guys are excited for this one. Another third-party figure, another SooSooToys review. They've been doing very, very well. The only thing I could say from SooSooToys that I would like to see is, and I think we can say this for pretty much any 6-scale manufacturer creator, is I would like to see the process speed up a little bit. I'd like to see that. I know there's a bunch of other third-party figures, SooSooToys figures specifically, that people are waiting on, that they'd like to see. They're waiting, pre-orders, all that kind of stuff. So we just like to see things sped up because we are impatient people when it comes down to collecting in general. But there you go. Before we actually get started on this one, what were your thoughts on Suicide Squad film with the giant starfish? That whole thing. This guy's interaction with Peacemaker was hilarious, in my opinion. I thought it was a pretty good film. It was the first Suicide Squad, like I pretend that one doesn't exist. The second one, it's pretty good. But I think Peacemaker show on HBO trumps all of it, in my opinion. So anyways. Now that we've got this guy, and then soon Hot Toys is going to be doing the Peacemaker. They're doing King Shark. But we don't have the Harley Quinn in the red dress. Love to have that one. I think there's another third party doing the polka dot man thing. I think, there's other things. But I digress. Let's get into the figure. For those interested, here's the box. It looks like a box. There's really nothing fancy about it. It says SooSooToys right there. And it says the Tactician. It's a box, whatever. All right, we've got a pile of hands. Let's see what we've got. We've got all the accessories laid out here. We've got the figure, we got the display base, we got their normal stand deal, crotch grabber. We got a whole bunch of weapons, and we got a whole bunch of hands. Let's check it out. So where do we want to start? Let's start with the simplest thing, which is going to be the display base, which if you've seen a SooSooToys figure, you've seen this before. This one's got the little Tactician Bloodsport logo on the top of it. This nice little copper, diamond plate they've got going on here, copper brush. Nice weathering. I dig this very much. I mean, it matches every other SooSooToys one. They do have this guy. I wish they would up this a little bit. Like this is a little cheap in my opinion. I like the look of this. These feel a little cheap. Maybe something just, I don't know. I don't know what else they could do with this, but it just feels cheap. There's me ranting on that. We clearly have a whole lot of cool weapons. We'll get into the head sculpt because I think there's some debate over how good that is or how bad that is. We'll get into that. But here is his giant weapon, and it is straight up giant. Like here's the size of the weapon, and there's the size of the figure. It's pretty ginormous, and it's got some weight to it, right? So I kind of dig this thing. But if we get some of these hands out of the way, boom, you go over there, and let's zoom in, and let's take a look at some of the details on this guy. It actually is quite beautifully painted. It really is. It's a nice silver wash or dry brushing over the entire thing. The yellow, I would say it's like a dark turquoise-ish blue. It's a greenish blue color. I don't know what color it actually is. But there's that. And you got this spinning effect like it did in film. I like that. I just think this is stupid cool. So like this guy comes out of this guy. So you get the smaller version, and then magically it comes into this. Obviously it comes all over the suit. And this is just, I don't know. I just kind of dig this. The fact that this spins is just crazy because I don't know. Like some modifier is going to go out there and like make this electronic and make it spin like USB powered, and then you'll have like a little mini fan. So that'll be kind of crazy, right? But this is significantly heavy. It's just definitely not, at least I don't think, depending on how strong these wrist pegs are, this is probably a two-handed weapon, if I had to say so myself. But we'll see when we get into posing. I very much like this. I think it's very cool. And like I said, it does derive from this guy, which is a little smaller version of it. But let's be honest, this is the one most everybody's going to use, I think, or they're going to use these guys, which he definitely used in the film. A little double wielding action on these guys. We pulled them out of the suit. Pretty cool. All the colors match on the weapon side. They don't necessarily match the figure. There's some debate about that, and this was like pre-CGI or CGI'd, and then some. I don't even care. I'm not going to get into that. But these are accurate in color, and you can do your own research and on that. But you get two of these guys, I think they're pretty cool. And then you get this little puny weapon, which I don't see anybody using. This is the one he used at the last of the film, shooting Peacemaker's bullet. And pretty cool, but a useless accessory in my opinion. And then you've got a mace, which, although cool, Boom, 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 boom. Although it is pretty cool and nicely painted, I don't see many people using this one either. So this is like one of those things where you got more accessories than you need, and maybe you have 2 of these figures. I don't know. Then you've got this nice sword. It is plastic. It is not die cast. Or it's PVC. Anyway, it's not die cast. It's pretty nice. Kind of dig it. Yeah, whatever. Let's get you out of here. We got some hands. Got a whole pile of hands. And so we got 2 fisted hands that show up out on the actual figure. So you get one of right and left, and then you get all these guys. Now, I think the one most probably people are going to use is going to be this one for obvious reasons. Do I need to put like a parental advisory on this video for this? Nah, probably not. But nice little watch. This has got the copper coloring on it. So if you want to see this next to the actual weapons, you can see they are different. So if that bothers you, then repaint these, I guess, would be a thing. Maybe. I don't know. But kind of dig this one. Pretty nice. Nice gesturing hand. We really need more gesturing hands out of all our figures. You're going to have some weapon holding hands, obviously. I got a right hand. Got another right hand for holding the sword, I would imagine. And then you've got this guy right here. Pretty cool. Actually, you got a right and left version of that. That's pretty cool. And then you got just some open, relaxed hands, which we've seen 400,000 times. But we want to look at the figure because that's what everybody's here to see. So let's take a look at this head sculpt and let's debate about it. And let's argue in the comment section and be like, hey, you're wrong and you're wrong. No, I'm right, you're wrong. All that kind of stuff because that's what collectors do. When I saw the release photos of this with people who got it early and saw photos of it, generally what typically happens is the photos aren't all that great. And then people go, oh, it's terrible, it's terrible. And believe me, I've had my fair share of that in the past in some reasons, some respects. I try to reserve judgment, but this right here is better in hand than it looks on camera. So I will definitely give that. So SooSooToys definitely modified the sculpt just a little bit from their first promo photos way back when. But it is quite nicely done. Is it their best head sculpt ever? No. That classic Trickster, classic Loki, that may be that may be their finest sculpt I've ever seen from SooSooToys. But this one's not terrible. It's not terrible, but you kind of need it to be a good sculpt because he looked like this for most of the film. We do have the helmeted sculpt, which you'll look at, but for most of the film, he looked like this. So if you want to display him, I think this is important for it to be decent. But it is decent. So I think the only nitpick I would give for this is the beard shows up on camera more white, more gray than it actually is in person. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's there. There's definitely some gray going on. And it looks like Idris Elba pretty much. I mean, I give it like 6 or 7 out of 10. It's not, like I said, not their best, but it's not their worst either. So there's that. The armor looks pretty awesome. We got this nice copper and dry brushing, everything going on, even down here in the bottom. I thought this was pretty cool. So this armor that kind of wraps around the back is not connected to give you range of motion in the torso. I thought that was pretty nifty because most of the time we're not displaying our figures looking the other way. Unless you're just into that kind of thing. So yeah, I think that works to give us some range of motion. Nice. The belt is actually nicely detailed. The copper and the or almost brass colored with the black and the dry brushing, all very nice. The pants, nice fabric material, no issues posing, double bend on the knee. That's the slight problem, but you can just do that. There's that. And you gotta, kind of maneuver that around. Double bend on the elbows, so plenty of range of motion there. As far as the body goes, I really don't have too much of an issue with it. I think, I don't really, this is interesting. So this guy right here, if you twist this so much, this back plate comes off. Actually, it does come off, it's just on top. So it allows that range of motion. I like that. That's thoughtful. So I'm a fan. I like that very much because if that was connected, you would get 0 range of motion. It would be pretty much like a Thor figure, and that would suck. But down here, split cut boots, as we already saw, plenty of range of motion there, and I kind of dig it. But I guess we should put the other head sculpt on here, the other neck adapter, which is this guy plus this guy, which is magnetic. A third-party company doing a magnetic sculpt, I think, is pretty stinking sick. But it really doesn't matter what it looks like right here. Let's see what it looks like posed up. So I wanted to see what kind of pose I could get this guy in before I started getting a bunch of weapons. I want to see how tightly, how compact I could get it with the fabric material. And this isn't bad. I mean, especially with the, it definitely helps with the disconnecting or the disconnected armor plates that wrap around. That definitely helps with the torso. There's a decent amount of twist. You can see the back plate there is out and a little unsightly, but again, nobody's displaying their figures that way. But I think it's very posable. The split cut boot, definitely a big thing. Double bend on the knees, double bend on elbows. The only trouble I really ran into with this particular pose is the collar on his suit is so stiff that there's no movement in it to get his head in different positions. So that's the only really struggle. I imagine when we get the mass sculpt on there, that will disappear because it's magnetic and you got some more range of motion. But let's talk about the sculpt for a second. I think it's just fine. You can see it for yourself right there. I think it's just fine. I don't really have any gripes with it. I mean, let's put it honestly, what other Bloodsport figures are available currently? There's another one coming out from another manufacturer later. It doesn't look any better, in my opinion, than this. And, you know, these are good value for $1, in my opinion. But I think this rocks. I dig it. And, you know, you could probably kit bash maybe an Idris Elba Bond figure or something out of this, or, you know, with the head sculptors. I don't know. That could happen, right? Maybe. But I kind of dig it. I like the colors. I think the colors pop off the suit. It's posable. I think the only thing left to do now is get some more weapons on there. Check it out with the different head sculpt. And you guys can let me know in the comment section if you have a preference of one over the other. All right, so we've added the other masked head sculpt, and we added some weapons, and we changed out the hands. And in typical SooSooToys fashion, the hands are a nightmare to change. Now, not because these have gauntlets around them, just because they're just so freaking tight. So would recommend heating them up. I did have to use some those pliers to get wrist pegs out of one hand and put it in the other hand. And it was a thing. But regardless, sometimes you got to put in a little work to pull off a good pose. And so I wanted to use the giant weapon, whatever the name of that weapon is, and because it keeps changing. He changes whatever heck he wants it to be. And we've got the kind gesturing hand out there. So that's for you guys. So I dig this. I like him stand up tall. I'm not sure if I would display mine with the head sculpt or with this helmeted version. You guys can let me know your thoughts. But I kind of like both. I don't know. They both look pretty stinking good, in my opinion, but that's just me. I kind of dig it. And when Peacemaker finally arrives, sometime at some point, these two will look pretty solid together, in my opinion. I don't know if I'm going to get King Shark because that's pretty much just a statue. I mean, it's a power pose figure, but we'll see. I don't know. Regardless, I would like to see the other members of the squad as well because it was a fun movie and I kind of dug it. But let me know your thoughts. Do you like the Idris Elba head sculpt? Do you like the helmeted version? Do you not like this figure at all? Did you hate the movie? Whatever it is, let me know. Let's do another pose. All right, here we go again. Another pose, little action pose. And he's got his, whatever the heck weapons those things are called. I don't know. You can leave it in the comment section down below. But either way, he's got his dual wielding batons, something. Who knows? Anyways, I dig this figure. I think it looks pretty good. I do think that the head sculpt is usable. I definitely think that. I think if you want this, it's a passable figure. And I think it works. Posability, I think, works well. I think you can look at it right there on the screen. I think it's a pretty good looking figure. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. Thank you, SooSooToys, because sometimes they drop those single joints in there. Really kind of frustrating. Split cut boots, fabric suit, posable, movable. Don't have to worry about breaking anything. We get a head sculpt. We get a helmeted sculpt. We get a bunch of weapons. Get a bunch of hands. I don't know what else you could possibly want from a 6-scale figure. From this line. So, yeah, I kind of dig it. So let me know your thoughts. If you want to pick one of these up, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below if you're going to be building the Suicide Squad or if you're not. But let me know your thoughts on this SooSooToys third-party Tactician, otherwise known as Bloodsport, because I kind of dig it. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel and be entered in giveaways and that kind of stuff, you can check out on Patreon, so patreon.com/Jedha Patrol, or channel membership right here. And we've got behind the scenes stuff. We've got a whole separate Facebook group for channel members and Zoom meetups and all that kind of fun stuff. So there we go. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Do that, or else this guy will come after you. As always, click the like.